what up? Welcome into another episode of Profit Picks. If you are new, we do always start this show by being transparent. And yesterday, another day, another day heading in this direction. I want to keep going that direction. We've gained, I think, a little bit above 25 units in the playoffs, hit 15 of the last 18 bets. We'll try to keep it going here today. We have Kyle, and it's been a little bit since we've seen you. How's NBA been treating you? How you doing today?
Well, Minnesota, what a wagon, man. Um,
Yeah.
they hooked me up again last night. I had the Knicks minus the points, so I actually went 1-1 against the spread, but I bet Minnesota money line last night. As soon as that shit opened, as soon as game one ended, I hammered Minnesota money line in game two.
And you know what? I gotta point it out, Kyle. There was only one person I feel like that had Minnesota in their bracket on your show advancing over there, and it was this guy right here.
It
So
was you. It was you. Here's a question, and this includes myself. If Minnesota pulls the sweep off here, which is actually realistic, they're going back home for 2 games. Who's going to know what happens with Jamal Murray? I mean, how does he not get suspended? He literally threw something onto the court. How did you not get suspended for that? If Minnesota completes the sweep, I think everyone, including myself, need to apologize to the Suns. Big, my bad. It doesn't look that bad anymore.
Yeah, that was. I mean, it was a very bad matchup for the Suns in general. So the Timberwolves, I mean, they're no joke. They're the real deal, and everybody should be worried about facing the Timberwolves going forward. So we'll talk about that in the near future. Get into a couple of these comments. Really quick, did you do any series bets before we talk about the games?
Nah, I don't really like those. I'm more of a immediate, like, I want the results now. And also my opinion changes if a game goes a certain way. Sometimes the coaching adjustments are pretty obvious, where it's like, yo, they just got lit up by wide open 3-point shots. You know, the adjustment is going to be put more pressure on the perimeter. So sometimes I like the coaching adjustments on a game by game basis, and it helps me make my decision. So personally, I'm not a series bet guy. That being said, I think there's a solid chance, and I know this is just correct.
Uh-oh. Hopefully he'll be back very soon. Trying to see if he'll come through. It's all right. Let's see. Maybe if let me take him off of there. I'll see him down there when he comes back. So, you guys can see me still, right? Am I frozen? Eh, You guys cannot see. Oh, I'm good. Okay. All right. Kyle's frozen. I'm good. Kyle will be back shortly. He probably just something happened with his internet. So, get to a couple more of these comments before we get started. Cheshire Cat says Ant Edwards for life. I'm absolutely an Ant Edwards fan. There he goes.
Yo, I don't know what the hell just happened. My computer booted me out.
No worries.
But let me zoom in. All right. So basically what I was saying is I don't think it's unrealistic to say Oklahoma City Dallas is the only series that isn't a sweep in the second round.
Wow. We're feeling pretty good about. I mean, we saw a close.
Come on.
Do you just mean from the West? I mean, not
all
from the
four.
West, but, I mean,
Come
Indiana
on.
didn't look competitive at all.
Yeah, they absolutely dominated the turnover battle. The Knicks couldn't stop turning it over. That was your best chance, Pacers. It's a wrap. That's light work. Celtics and
You're not
Cavs.
worried about them playing good at home?
No, absolutely not. Knicks one of the best road teams in the NBA. That's a sweep. Knicks in 4.
All right,
that was their chance. Catch the Knicks napping, catch them. In fact, the Knicks just got a little bit of a wake-up call while winning. That's light work. That'll be Knicks 3 straight wins, 3 straight covers.
Hey, Kyle's very bullish on those Knicks.
I was worried about Philadelphia. I was betting the Sixers throughout that series. So it's not like I just blindly take my team. I like this matchup for the Knicks. We played a bad game, didn't protect the basketball, still won.
And I think, I'm with you. I have a Knicks to win the East ticket in my pocket, so I want them to at least make it there. If they make it there and Boston makes it, I'm sitting back with my feet up because I have plus money no matter who wins. So
yep,
I'm rooting for it too. Let's get to these 2 games for today. 2 solid games. Actually, one is a little bit better than the other. So I'll go in rotation order. I know it's not time order, but 557, 558, Dallas and OKC. It opens Thunder -3. They're 3.5 point favorites right now. Total, it jumped 4 points from 214.5 to 218.5. And I don't know that I agree too much with that total move. I'll say that off the rip. I
No,
think,
you might be the only person that agrees with me. I'm on the under, and I can't
yeah.
find anyone else that likes the under. And everyone's betting the over. The market clearly likes the over. I thought I was the only one. I bet the under. This is in my pocket.
Well, I love to hear that. I mean, I like it for a lot of different reasons. If you look at, I mean, you can start off by saying if you just look at both of these teams in the playoffs, only one game went over this number, and that was the one where the Mavs were just sleepwalking in the first quarter, and the Clippers scored, I think, 40 points, 39 points, something like that. That's the only one that cleared this number for one. Mavericks down the stretch of the season, they were winning games by playing great defense. So I don't think that's going to stop. OKC, we know they're more than capable on defense, and I just think it'll be easier right now because Mavs are missing their floor spreader, or at least one of them, in Maxi Kleba. So I think the paint will be packed. OKC has a couple good defenders in general. This just seems like more of an under game.
Yeah, for sure. And there's a couple things. So first of all, I was more impressed with Oklahoma City's defense in that first round than their offense. I thought the Oklahoma City defense won them that series. They played, I mean, I don't think the Pelicans hit triple digits once all 4 games. I might be mistaken on that, but pretty sure they were held to in the 90s or even 80s. Oklahoma City's defense got red hot at the very end of the regular season and in these playoffs. Now, the Dallas Mavericks offense is certainly not the Pelicans offense without Zion. I'll give you that. It's a step up in competition, but still, Luka Doncic doesn't really look right. He's not shooting the ball well. He's not shooting the outside shot well. And if Luka Doncic isn't his 100% self, I expect Oklahoma City's defense to really give the Mavericks problems. So I like on that side. And then on the other side, man, hold on one sec. I'm going to share my screen.
On that note, Luka, I mean, he was looking pretty banged up. I feel like because his knee was hurting him, maybe he's not getting the lift he needs or something, because those 3-pointers, they were not looking good.
Can you guys see this? Can they see this?
We got it up there. I got it up there now.
Oh, they can see it? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, cool. So right here, look at the wide open shots Oklahoma City was getting. So right here, 2-point field goals with 4 feet plus of space, over 19 a game, Clippers 12. With 3-point field goals with 4 feet plus of space, over 34 attempts per game to 22. Wide open 3-point attempts, that's 6 feet or more of space, 21.8 to 12. This is the most in the NBA on the right to the least in the NBA on the left. And what I mean by that is, hold on, let me take this down now. What I mean by that is Dallas was not giving anybody on the Clippers wide open looks. The 2 games the Clippers stole was Harden and Paul George making circus shots. So all those wide open looks that Oklahoma City, all those wide open threes, they lead the NBA in the playoffs with wide open looks from 3, and they were hitting them. They're not going to be there against the Mavericks that allowed the least amount of wide open looks in anybody in the playoffs. So now there is something to be said that Oklahoma City is just flat out better than the Clippers at creating wide open looks. There's truth to that. But as a whole, the Oklahoma City Thunder got a shitload of wide open shots that I just don't think they're going to get against Dallas. Like you said, Dallas defense is playing really well the second half of the season after the All-Star break. And so I like the matchup for both defenses. I think both defenses are going to show up. And here's the only hesitation that scares me a little bit. The 4 times these 2 teams met in the regular season were super high scoring. And I think that might be the reason this total jumped up, like crazy high scoring, like way over. But the playoffs are completely different. In those games, they were averaging 103 pace, 103 possessions per game. The Mavericks are averaging about 91.5 possessions per game, 92 possessions per game in the playoffs. Same with Oklahoma City. The possessions are way down. So the regular season and the playoffs, as we've seen across the league, not just from these 2 teams, it's just completely different. It tends to be lower scoring. It tends to be more defensive. So I expect both defenses to come out strong, and I expect the pace to be a little bit slower than what we saw from these 2 teams in the regular season. I wouldn't be mad if you wanted to play the first half under. Now, I know I'm not a first half guy, but Crispy Cappan is the one that pointed this out to me. These game ones in the first half is like a feel out. They play really slow, and he called it to a T. in that Minnesota-Denver game 1. He liked the first half under, right? It was 44-40 at half. And then as soon as they came out of the third quarter, the pace immediately picked up. And I actually still almost hit my over. It came down to the 3 at the end of the game. And if Aaron Gordon hits the 3, it goes over. So I still almost hit my over, even though there's only 84 points in the first half. So maybe a first half under if you're a little scared about the pace picking up in the second half. But I played the full game. I got it at 218.5 under.
I think that happened. That happened again in that Pacers game. It was pretty slow first half, and that second half just took off.
The feel out, the game 1 feel out first half. Chris called it, and it's looking sharp so far.
Yeah, I can understand that. From a side perspective in this game, I want to look a little bit more at the matchups. And Cheshire Cat says I wouldn't handicap Luka's injury. I mean, those 3-pointers, I feel like they're not falling because of that knee. That's kind of just my opinion. And as far as like his defense, when it was either the game plan to let him get past him or guys were just getting past Luka. When I look at this game, Chet, he's gonna be standing on the 3, pulling what Gafford or Lively out of the paint, and it's gonna be wide open. It's gonna be a lot of room for people to operate for the OKC side. On the flip side, they don't have that Maxi Kleber to space the floor. He's out. So I feel like the OKC Thunder are going to pack the paint, and it's going to be a lot harder for the Mavericks to score in general. So I'm thinking OKC is the right side here. I don't know if I already said this, but playoff home favorites with the rest advantage win 76% of the time. I would only bet the Thunder. Do you have any opinion?
I guess I would have to agree with that. I want to bet Dallas. I think that's more of just like what I personally would like to do rather than there's any evidence pointing towards that. I feel like if you're betting the Mavericks here, you're relying on too many question marks. Is Kyrie going to score 40 points? And is Luka Doncic finally going to get his outside shots to fall? You're relying on too many ifs if you bet on Dallas, where Oklahoma City, it feels a little safer. If I did bet Oklahoma City, if I did lay the points, it would be a bet on Oklahoma City's defense to really give Dallas problems. So maybe a Mavericks team total under rather than actually lay the points with OKC, because Dallas does play good defense. I know Kyrie and Luka Doncic are not exactly branded as defensive guys, but that team as a whole plays really good defense. So, I would probably lean Oklahoma City, I guess, minus the points, but I feel pretty comfortable in my under.
I'll say this. Delroy says Mavs take 1 in OKC. I agree. I just don't think it's game 1. I've seen a lot of poor performances from Luka in game 1. He's banged up right now. I think he's won 1 game 1 ever. And I think they can, like, I can bet OKC tonight and be perfectly fine coming back with the Mavs next game. That's kind of how I see it going. So I think we did a good job on this one. We'll move over to the last game for tonight, and that is Cavaliers and the Celtics. Celtics now 12.5-point favorite. Started at 11 total. Another total on the rise. Not as much, but up to 211. There is one 211.5 out there, or a couple 211.5s out there from 209. Jared Allen, he's still questionable, it looks like, and he's missed a couple. Porzingis will be out. Cleveland just played a really tough series. A really, really tough series. 7 games. Boston just breezed through their opponent. So is this one where the Cavs, how much more they have left in the tank right now, and Boston just kind of runs them out? Or how are you viewing this one?
So, I mean, straight up, this is just such a bad matchup for the Cavs based on how they've been playing. I'm going to share the screen again. Promise this is the last of the graphics, guys.
It's all good.
All right, so I'm coming back to my graphics here. Can they see them?
Yep.
All right, so right here, again, the wide open shots. Now, let's give some credit to the Cavs defense on the interior, because they did show up and play good defense down low. It's a big part of what Orlando was struggling with offensively. Orlando's an offense that likes to get to the rim and score. And the Cavs' interior defense, which was good early in the season, it showed up. So let's give them some credit there. But what was a huge factor in this series? And if you watched it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Orlando missing wide fucking open shots. And as someone who had Orlando in Game 7, it was infuriating. And you can see right here, Orlando, 16.9 wide open 3-point shots per game. They only hit 5.1 of them, shooting 30.5% from wide open looks. This is 6 feet plus of space. Meanwhile, Boston, the best 3-point shooting team in the NBA for 2 years now, played Miami, an elite 3-point defense, and the Heat weren't giving them any wide open looks. Just 12.2 attempts, and they were splashing them when they got them, shooting over 44%. So it's really, for me, it's as simple as those wide open looks that the that the Magic were missing. Boston's going to hit. And then right here, how can you not bring up Cleveland on the road? In their 3 games in Orlando, they had a minus 24.9 net rating, meaning per 100 possessions in those 3 games, they were losing by an average of 24.9 points. It's the worst of any playoff team on the road. So, in my opinion, there's just no way in hell I could look at Cleveland here. As much as I'd love to see it, the only ticket I have open right now is such a shitty bet. It's like I'm embarrassed to even share it. I took Celtics money line and I paired it with Celtics team total over 105.5 and Cavs team total under 105.5. So I took the Celtics money line and paired it with 2 teased team totals. It's disgusting. It's probably terribly valued. But we've seen Boston take their foot off the pedal late in games and blow covers so many times that I just really was scared to pull the trigger on laying the 12.5. But that's what I want to do. I will say Boston better make quick work of Cleveland because you don't want to come into the Knicks series unrested. They better handle their business quickly.
I don't think the Celtics are worried, for one, about anybody.
You mean the Knicks, the only team in their division they have a losing record against recently? Knicks own Boston.
Okay. I mean, I would love to see them match up. I hope they do match up. But I think for this game, you said something that stands out to me that I agree with. The Celtics, you said a couple of things I agree with. Celtics are going to get out to a big lead, and they're going to take their foot off the gas at the end because what reason do they have to continue to keep their stars in and just pound them at the end? So I like the Celtics first half here, minus 7.5. We all know how dominant it's been all season long. We saw it again in the playoffs. I don't see why it stops here. The matchup is not good for the Cavs. I mean, I look at it like this. Drew Holiday, he's excellent defending smaller guards, and you got 2 small guards over there you can have a field day with. Derek White, I also trust him too. And the Cavaliers, I don't really care who they have protecting the rim. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, they can score. They're 3-level scorers. And as you mentioned too, Celtics are a great 3-point shooting team. I expect them to continue to knock them down. So I think it's early and probably often, but I want to avoid the fourth quarter. So first half Celtics minus 7.5 is the direction I chose to go. Total wise, it's interesting because you expect the Celtics to score, but you expect the Cavs to struggle scoring. So the Cavs team total is pretty low. It's 98.5 if you wanted to bet that. I think
they would have gone the Cavs team total 98.5. I believe they would have gone under that all 3 games on the road in Orlando. I believe. I think.
I'll include probably the Celtics here in this one just because they might take their foot off the gas in the fourth quarter. Like that, if that's how we're really seeing the game going, I think we'll be just fine. And I don't want them to take their foot off the. I don't know. I like the full game at 2-11. I just know Cavs. It took a lot out of them in that game 7 series, and Celtics are extremely fresh. We've seen the Celtics even in nights when they weren't shooting well in Miami just dominate the game with defense. I think that's how they do in this game. So I think the under's in play. I'm not mad if you want to take Cavs team total under 2. It's just I get nervous when it starts getting under 100.
It's I get tough. Nervous. It's tough to take the under when Cavs are playing such poor defense against the 3-point shot, and all Boston does is launches threes, and they're going to hit them. That number could get up pretty quick. I mean, I'm not even disagreeing with the under. I like the Cavs team total under, but I think Boston could very easily score 100. We saw the Magic hang like 127 points on the Cavs in Orlando. Boston might hang 140. It makes it tough. Well,
I'll say this. You already talked about the Cavs. I mean, neither team has hit this number that we're looking at tonight in the playoffs. So I like it under. I like less points more than anything else, or rather than the 98.5. Although I like that too. So good stuff on this game. Any props? We did have a question if Kyle likes any props. I know you're not the biggest prop person.
Yeah, I think I answered that guy.
Oh, okay. My bad. I missed it.
My comment answering him should be like right below that.
I definitely missed it.
Oh, whatever. Well, what I said was anybody wearing a Boston Celtics jersey over 3-pointers made. Anyone pick someone. Hauser, Pritchard, Horford, Tatum. Take your pick over 3-pointers made. Anyone except Luke Cornett.
Otto says total is at 208.5 this AM and now 212. Yeah, one thing I always say is just because the total is moving, or just because a line is moving, does not mean it's moving in the right direction. Doesn't mean it's going to guarantee you a winning ticket. So that's that. Great stuff, Kyle. We're moving on over to the best bet segment. And you guys can find Kyle on Twitter at Kyle Kirms. Also does YouTube shows throughout the day, all kind of different sports. Anything else I'm missing there that you would like to promote and maybe a best bet for the show?
No, that's good. And I have limited options for my best bet. I haven't placed any MLB bets yet. I was in a golf tournament yesterday, so I'm really behind schedule today. The only bet I really have down, other than that stupid same game Celtics parlay, is the under at 218.5 in Oklahoma City, Dallas. So I have to say it's my best bet because it's really my only bet right now.
Nothing wrong with that. And I also endorse that bet for myself. My best bet for the show, I'll go with the Celtics first half minus 7.5. A lot of advantages for them in this game. I can see them being up by double digits very easily at the end of 24 minutes. So appreciate you, Kyle, for taking the time to come on the show. I appreciate you guys in the chat. You know, you guys are awesome, like I always say. So I'll be on at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time with Dutch, Babano, and Wham. So until then, best of luck if you tell. Good luck, everybody, on all your action. And I'll catch you guys later.
Let's go, Knicks.
Peace.